We left off yesterday with this idea that the Alter Rebbe throws a huge bomb into the situation here, and he says, maybe this is why I was created. Maybe this is why I was created. In other words, I'm sitting here trying to become something, quote unquote, right? And in fact, I'm seeing that over and over and over and over again, I'm being faced by the same challenges. And I say to myself, what in the world is going on here? I am not developing. I'm not becoming any better. I have the same fights as I had 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Where am I in the world? I think I'm going to get depressed from this. And the Alter Rebbe says, wait a minute. Who says that that's why you were created? Who says that you were created to all of a sudden become a something? No, that's not why you were created. You were created to win each challenge that is being thrust at you. That's why you were created. And we gave the example yesterday of the offensive lineman. The offensive lineman, every single play, he gets out there and he tries to push back the defensive lineman. And if he decides one play, I'm not going to show up, then your quarterback is going to get sacked. Your quarterback might get hurt. Your quarterback might be out for the season. Right? That might be it. But I just didn't show up for one play. What's one play? Who really cares? What's the difference? That's what the person could say to himself. So if he's playing in the NFL, no one's going to get away with that excuse. No one's going to be okay with, all of a sudden you're going to get the TV commentators and saying, oh, he just said he wasn't available for this play. He decided to tune out. What? That's not even a possibility. Because the whole team is depending on you. It's not just your one play. It's every play, the whole team is depending on you. And then we said what? And it's not that the offensive lineman all of a sudden, after playing 2 quarters, right? It's now halftime. Now he's graduated from offensive lineman. Now we're going to make him the quarterback. Or now we're going to make him the wide receiver. And when he gets after the 3rd quarter, he graduates from being wide receiver. Now he becomes the quarterback. It doesn't work like that. Each person has to play his role in this world, whatever that role is. And you could say to yourself, wait a minute, why am I facing the same thing day in, day? No, because that's why you were created. You were created to win this particular challenge each time that you are faced with it. That's my job. That's what I do. And that's where we left off yesterday. Take a look again. We are on page Lamed Daled, page 67. The first word in the line is da. It's a little bit more than halfway down the page. Let's start by the period. V'lachein. It says like this. V'lachein al yipol leva adam. A person's heart should not drop because of this. V'lo yireh levav ma'od. Right? And a person shouldn't get sad and depressed and annoyed because of these negative thoughts that are coming into his mind and all these negative situations that are happening to him. Why? Even if your entire life you are going to be facing this battle. Your entire life you're facing this war, as he calls it. Because perhaps that's why you were created. And that is your avoida. That is your job in this world. To constantly be bending the other side, the negative side, constantly. That's what I'm here for. Got it? An amazing concept. It's an amazing thought. Now let's go back to what we said in chapter 1. If you remember, all the way back in chapter 1, we said that Eiyuv, right, which was quoted in Bava Basra over there, Eiyuv says, right, Ribbonu shel ha'olam, right, that you created tzaddikim, you created rishayim, right? How could you say you created tzaddikim, you created rishayim? How is that even possible? Right? We thought that Yireh Shamayim is something that a person has to work on himself. So now we can go back to that same idea. If you take a look back in the first page, if you look all the way back, literally the first side, it says, right? Ribono shalom brasa tzaddikim brasa rishayim. That's what Eiyuv said. So now let's go back to our place over here. Now we can understand what it means. What does it mean, barasa rishayim, that you created, so to speak, evil people, rishayim? It doesn't mean what you think it means. You think it means, God created certain people that are tzaddikim and certain people that are bad people. That's not what it means at all. That's not what he's trying to say. What he's saying is that there are two different avodas in this world. That's what he's talking about. And the avoda of one type of person is totally different than the avoda of the other type of person. Don't get confused. So when he says, Baras Rishayim, that you created, so to speak, Rishayim, which literally is translated as evil people, Beloshi Rishayim be'emes chas v'shalom, not that they should be evil people, they should be Rishayim in an actual way, God forbid. It's that these people, meaning you and me, normal people, it's going to pop into our minds all these different acts and all these different feelings and all these different lusts and desires and ridiculous things that a Rasha, if he would play out on them, then you would say that this is not a nice guy. This guy that's not doing the right things. That's what Hashem created the normal person. That we are having these Yetzer Haras, that we are having these Nefesh Bahamises that are coming at us from all different directions and attacking us, left, right, and center, right? That's what's going on over here. However, why did he create us this way? To fight against it constantly. To take away my mind from this. To take away my mind from this. That when this negative feeling comes into me, when I have this negative thought, when I feel this anger towards another person, when I feel this jealousy towards another person, I am capable of saying, no, stop. I'm not going to give myself over to this negative energy. When I start feeling bad and depressed and upset and whatever, I'm able to say to myself, stop. I'm in control here. I'm setting the agenda here. And I'm not going to allow myself to go down this slippery slope. That's the point that he's trying to bring out. That's what it means, lahasiach daisa mehem. Now I'm going to take my mind away from this garbage. Because I'm in charge. And that's my avoda. There's a reason why the offensive lineman is constantly pushing. That's his job. It's not like he's going to wake up one day and he's going to say, oh, maybe the defender is just going to stand there and he's going to watch me and so I won't have to push anymore. I won't block. I don't have to block. The defensive lineman is not, he decided that he's taking the day off. This Sunday I'm taking the day off. So he gets in there and that's it. Doesn't exist such a thing. That's my job as an offensive lineman. My job is to push. My job is to block. That's what I have to do. The same thing here. My job is lahasiyach daisa mehem, to take my mind away from this stuff. That's my job. Take my mind away from this, all this negativity, all this bad stuff. Because it all starts, it's all from my brain. It's all in my head. Everything. All the garbage is in my head. Whether it's a jealousy, whether it's an anger, whether it's a depression, whether it's just being generally upset, wanting to lash out at another person, whatever it is, it's all happening in my head. Who is in charge up there? I'm in charge. And I can set the agenda. In order to bend the sitra acher. And it's not, no matter what he's going to do, he's never going to be able to nullify it completely. Because that's not his capability. That's not his job. That's the job of a tzaddik. A tzaddik doesn't have a Yetzer Hara like this. Like the Alter Rebbe explained earlier in Tanya in chapter 10. Right? A tzaddik is not being faced by this type of desire and this type of lust and this type of anger and this type of jealousy and this type of on and on and on and on. That's me and you. So as much as I'm going to try, I'm never going to get rid of it. So let's play the right game. If you're playing the game that you think that by you deciding, like, I'm going to learn 5 pages of Gemara and I'm going to go to the mikvah 100 times and I'm going to stand on my head in the corner and say whatever, that all of a sudden all this negative stuff that's popping into my head is going to go away, you're playing the wrong game. It's not the game you're supposed to be playing, which is very depressing. Because if you think that that's the game, and every day you come with the same nonsense again and again and again, it gets frustrating. But if you know the game that you're supposed to be playing, it's not frustrating at all. It's actually very, very exciting and very, how should we say it, chayis giving, because you realize that you're getting in there. An offensive lineman is not saying to himself, I can't believe that this defensive end is still trying to get past me. Didn't I show him the last down that he's not supposed to get past me? Now I have to show him again? I'm going to show him again? And I did this the last quarter. Now we're going to do it again and again? Like that's what you say, again, how many times do I have to tell you, you have to take out the garbage or whatever. Pick up your socks from the floor, right? And I was like, what is this? No offensive lineman is going to say, I tried to teach that defensive end that he should not try to get the quarterback. I taught him once, twice, 20 times already I taught him. No, it's ridiculous. That's not the game. Playing the wrong game. You know that every single down he's going to come in and he's going to try. And every single moment with us, we are being attacked by our nefesh bahamis, by our animal souls, over and over and over and over and over again. From this side, from that side, from the other side, from the other, right? It's like, I once gave an example, a whack-a-mole. They used to have this game. I don't know if they have games anymore that they have actual things. Now they only have computers. But back in the day, there used to be a game called, I think it was called whack-a-mole. Like, it had this like stick with like a cushion on the end, and then like a thing would come up, and then you bang it on the head, and then it would come up another end, and you bang it over here, and then you bang it over here, bang it over here, and then bang it, like all these holes and things are coming up. And that's what it's like. But if you know that that's the game you're playing, no one is saying, I can't believe I put a quarter into, probably can't play for anything for a quarter anymore. But in the day, we know we used to put a quarter in and then you play the game, right? So you put a quarter in and you say, can you imagine? I just knocked down the mole over here. Now he's coming up over there. Chutzpah! What kind of business is this? This is ridiculous. Third place? Oh, unbelievable. What?
Do this too.
Yeah, it's like, come on, what is this business? This is ridiculous. Come on. You see, this is our problem. Our problem is that we wake up in the morning and we think that, it's just going to be smooth sailing all day long. And it's just going to be, everything's going to be easy and everything's going to be simple and we're not going to have any negative thoughts and I'm just going to be in this, levitating above the ground, a few inches above the ground. That's not why we're here in this world. That's not the goal. That's not the goal. That's the point. You got to get the goal right. The goal is not that. The goal is to make sure the defensive end does not sack my quarterback each play. That's my goal. And if I did it on second down, it doesn't mean that I don't do it again on third down and fourth down and first down and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Every single down I have to do the same thing because that's my job. And that's what he says here. And then he says even further. So you could say to yourself, oh, well, I guess we are the scrubber deluxes, and the tzaddikim are like, they're the guys. They're the guys, And why am I even here? Like for what am I even bothering? So the Alter Rebbe goes further and says, "V'shnei minei nachas ruach lefanav yisbarach l'mayla." And there are two different types of nachas ruach, of pleasure by Hashem. Echad mebitul asitra acher legamrei. So there is one type of pleasure by Hashem, where the sitra acher, the negative side of this, becomes totally nullified. Bishapcha merira lemesicha, and it turns over the bitterness to the sweet, right? Machashucha, the nahira, the darkness to the light. This is the job of a tzaddik. The tzaddik has a certain game that he's playing. And in playing that game, this is a certain nachas that it gives to Hashem. However, b'hashenis, there's a second type. Chad is skafya sitra acher, that it's when a person bends the other side. He bends it. Ba'oida b'tkifa, while it's still in its strength, the gvuraso and power, u'magbia hatzma, and it's lifting itself up, kinesha, like an eagle. U'misham merida has Hashem, and that's where Hashem pushes it down from. Be'isirusa delatata ha'idei ha'beinanim. The second level is the normal person. The normal person is ready to go out and fight. Ready to fight with his nefesh bahamis, day in, day out, every step of the way, every thought, every pain. Right? When Yitzchak right, asked Esav to make him the mitamim, the delicious foods. Mitamim is lashon rabim, shnei minei nachas ruach. It's two different types of deliciousness or pleasantness or pleasure. V'hu maimer hashchina lebeneha. This is the words of God to her children. Klalos Yisrael kedeperish b'tikunim. And this is really the Tikunei Zayar is explaining. This is really Hashem speaking to the Jewish people. The kamosh mitamim gashmim derech malchus yeshnei minei ma'adanim echad ma'achalim arevim mesukim b'asheni medorim charifim mutim. So it says like this: just like we have in the physical world, you have two completely different types of delicious foods. You have foods that are like a chocolate cake or ice cream or something like that. And then you have foods that are like, Chinese food or spicy, a spicy pickle or, some sort of delicious Italian spicy food or whatever it is, right? No one's going to say, I like chocolate cake better than Chinese food. You could say, I like chocolate cake better than ice cream or ice cream better than chocolate cake. That's all within one gather. That's all within one category of food. Or you could say, I like Chinese food better than Japanese food better than Chinese food. Okay, get it. But there are two different types of foods. There's a food that is sweet, like a dessert, and then there's a food like a main course, right? Now, the main course could be, like he says here, it's spiced and sour. So sweet food by nature, it's just sweet. It just is like there's nothing. A pickle that you make into a sour pickle, right? Is something that starts one way and you sit with it, and it's salted, and you put spices in, you put some garlic in, some dill in, some whatever, and hot spicy peppers in, whatever, and over the course of time it cures, and all of a sudden you take a bite into it's delicious. They're both delicious, but they're very different types of delicious. So which is better? The answer is none are better. They're different. They're both equally excellent. They're each equally better. That's the point that we're saying here. And that's the idea when we break everything down and we say, what's the goal? The goal here is for the team to win. The goal here is to make the coach happy. The goal here is to make the fans happy. The goal here is to win the Super Bowl, whatever it is, right? The same thing here. The goal here is to make the team win. What does it mean to make the team win? To give Hashem nachas, to give Hashem pleasure. That's the goal, to make the world into a better place. How do we give Hashem pleasure? By making the world into a better place. Each one of us in our own way. We have a general rule though. For normal people, what does it mean? It means working on ourselves, fighting those battles that we are all constantly facing, and looking at the world from an optimistic point of view and from a positive point of view, changing ourselves and not allowing ourselves to lose the battle and not allowing ourselves to give up. That even though sometimes it seems very, very hard, and Hashem seems to be throwing lots and lots of curveballs like we've been saying, but nevertheless, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue. And recognizing, like the Zohar says, that each time I control myself, each time I hold myself back from lashing out at a friend or speaking not nicely about someone else, or even just when I have these feelings of negativity in myself, that I'm able to turn myself over and give myself the chayis to feel the energy and the joy of living life the way I'm supposed to be living life. So this makes a big impression, not just on me, but on the entire existence. That's what the Zohar tells us. That's my job here in the world. And that's what I have to focus on. Okay? I think we'll stop here for today, and we'll call it the end.